What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com coming to you for Friday, the 24th of January. It's actually still Thursday, but not by much. It's right at about midnight, so getting ready to call it a night. I've already gotten a good bit of work done for tomorrow's games. I just have some things to do in the morning, and there's not a very large card tomorrow. Obviously, still no NHL because of the All Star break, so we won't have any. Um, Normal NHL games being played until next week. But plenty of NBA action for Friday. A normal slate of college basketball for Friday. Usually the card selection's a little bit lower on Fridays versus other days of the week. Um, but that's good. It always sets us up for a good, easy winning Friday, and usually 100 plus games being played on Saturday. So, being that I do have something to do first thing in the morning, I wanted to get a good bit of work done tonight. Go and get you a free play video since Fridays we typically don't go live. I may try to go live in the afternoon hours, but depending on how many games we have, I don't know how much free information we'll be giving out as far as plays. May have to save that for the paying clients. But we may do some game breakdowns, just like we do every day. So let's get on a quick recap. Um, the recap from Wednesday, I had somebody email me and say, why can't you do a recap on your videos? Um, I don't know if people are just missing it, but I did a free play video um, for Thursday and gave a full recap of Wednesdays. All the other recaps have been done on the live shows. So it's there. Had a very, very large card for Wednesday. The biggest card that we've released throughout the week um, this entire fall and winter sports season. Um, so it was, I mean, we had a huge day, huge day yesterday. So anyway, had 13 selections yesterday, which has never happened on a Wednesday. Going 10-3 overall with two top plays, but again, that's in the past. Let's get on Thursdays. Thursday, we laid off of NBA. I did give a breakdown of the Lakers and Brooklyn game on the live show today. A lot of people were favoring Brooklyn because Kyrie was available and the Lakers. Obviously, on the road on a back-to-back after playing the Knicks, I gave my reasons why I liked the Lakers and why I thought that Kyrie being in the game was actually a benefit to Los Angeles. And obviously, you see what happened. LA absolutely trounced them. But other than that, we didn't have any premium or top play selections in the NBA, so it was just college basketball. Had a total of 7 selections, um, 6 premium and 1 top play. The premium selections, let's start off with the one loss that we took was Charlotte -3.5, which Charlotte struggled in the early going. They finally got it going late. Really was they were playing out of rhythm. You had players within the game playing very well. They just weren't playing as a team. They were not passing the ball well. They weren't going in underneath very well. They were forcing outside shots that they didn't have to. They could have easily burned clock, gone underneath, and taken control of this game very early, and they didn't. But nevertheless, they came back, started playing well, took a nice lead, and then 2 ridiculous fouls in the last minute of the game by Charlotte. Why they were even considering fouling made no sense. Their coach got fired up on the first one. The second one, he went and sat down. That's how pissed off he was. I don't think I'd want to be in that locker room. We laid 3.5. They won by 2. Because of those 2 fouls, they gave up 4 points. I think they should have won the game by 6, and we would have had a perfect sweep day. But nevertheless, we dropped it. They won by 2. We had to win by 3.5. That was the only loss we took of the day. The rest of the premiums, we had Sacred Heart over Central Connecticut State. That one actually made the cut of top play, but laid off on that one as a top play just because they didn't overly impress me the last time they actually played Central Connecticut State, and they were playing them at home last time, only winning by 11 when they had multiple opportunities to put the game away. So that made me shy away from it a little bit. They were laying 9.5 on the road, but they ended up winning by 30 plus, I believe. So an easy premium win there. Wisconsin, Green Bay over Cleveland State. That was the premium play that I gave away on the live show today. You could have laid the point to a point and a half, whatever whatever you would have gotten it at. They ended up winning by 4. The official play that I gave out was the money line, so we took care of business there. SIU Edwardsville on the money line -115. You could have laid the bucket with them if you wanted to. I think it was a point, actually, 1 point. That was a free play that I gave out on my free play video for Thursday. Took care of business very, very easily there. So another winner there. All the free plays that I gave out today were winners. Grand Canyon on the money line -130. They took care of business. That's the game that I actually just finished watching. Grand Canyon could have won by more. Their best free throw shooter missed basically half of the last 5 or 6. He missed half the free throws the last 6 times to the line. They were fouling him over and over. Grand Canyon was playing very smart, unselfish ball, driving in, knowing that they were going to get fouled and making sure that they ran plays to put the ball in his hand each time, and every time he was only making half of them. They still took care of business. They ended up winning by 3 points, and all we needed to do was get them on the money line. I think the official line closed at -2. So even if you played the line, you would have won. But they could have won by a lot more. But a lot of people did not like that play. I got emails about it saying that Seattle was the better team. And on paper, they were. But this matchup favored Grand Canyon in almost every aspect at home. And again, win-loss records don't mean as much as you think. So took care of business there. And then my favorite premium play of the day, we took the Indiana Hoosiers on the money line +165. I told people in the write-up that they could take the points if they wanted to. They would have taken, I think they would have got 3.5 points, but I didn't see any value there. Because it's like I told them, if Michigan State's going to win this game in Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, which is the toughest place in the Big Ten, that I've always thought that, as well as one of the top 10 most, one of the toughest places in the country to play, always has been since well before the Bobby Knight era. You could have taken the 3.5 points, but it's like I told them in the write-up, if Michigan State, who is the better team on paper, just about every position, if they're going to come in and they're going to win this game, they're going to do it by 8+ points. If they're going to keep the game down to a 5-point game or less, Indiana's going to win this game outright. And that's where you get the value at getting +165, because there was a few key areas where Indiana actually excels in that I knew was going to give Michigan State trouble. And they took care of business. They won outright. And the refs tried their damnedest to give this game to Michigan State, especially that last foul that Michigan State, God, I can't remember his last name, Kinesis or whatever his name is. It'll come to me in a second. He went in for that bucket late, went in between the two defenders. He drew no contact. They didn't touch him, but he fell to the ground awkwardly, and it was a foul. I mean, they tried everything they could to give Michigan State this game, and they couldn't do it. Indiana won it. But Indiana, honestly, had they called this game fairly, Indiana would have won at home by double digits. They beat Michigan State up and down the floor from tip-off to final buzzer without question. They out-hustled them. They played better team ball. They shot the ball better. They didn't force three-point. I mean, there were so many wide-open threes that Indiana could have taken and probably should have, but they didn't, to burn more time and to go inside and to make sure that everybody was touching that ball. It was just great team ball. As I've said, Michigan State is the #1 team in the Big Ten, if not one of the most prolific teams in all of college basketball, to screw themselves and to give it up once they get deep into conference play. And again, I've said that Michigan State wasn't the best team in the country. I've said that I truly don't think they're a top 10 team. I think that Indiana is a true top 25 team. I really do. And they proved tonight who the hungrier team was, just like Grand Canyon. They only won by 3, but they had 3 of their starters foul out and still took care of it. So The games were not near as close as the score would suggest. So that puts us at a 5-1 day in the premium plays. Our top play of the day was Winthrop minus 15.5. Slow in the early going. Had the normal degenerates email me about halfway through, right there going into halftime, as it was a tie game, and they said, "Well, guess you lost that one." I said, "Well, Winthrop's a second half team, and they have played absolute terrible team ball. They'll get it together going in the second half." And of course, they did, winning by 26, I believe. So a 6-1 day overall. And if you go by units, which I don't unit rate anything, but I always kind of rate it for the recap as 1 unit per premium play and then 3 units on a top play, with the loss juice taken into consideration there, and then the extra money made on the Indiana game, you would have picked up right at just over 7.5 units. Just like yesterday, picking up just under 10 units. Just in the last 2 days alone, we are 16-4, with right at about 17, just over 17 units in profit. So you can't beat that. Going into a big weekend, make sure you get on board. 3 days for $50, 7 days for $99. 30 days is the cheapest in the business at $2.99. There is a profit guarantee on every single package that I have, as long as you follow my system and you bet my games the way they're intended to be bet. So let's get on a free play. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, chase@chasewins.com. There is no excuses. If you were not on a package, you are missing out, and you're missing out on making money with us. Let's go to the NBA, a game that I like. This is a game where I think that we get a little bit of value here with the home team. This is a team that we played 2 nights ago. It's very rare that we get to play the Chicago Bulls and favor them as a favorite. Doesn't matter who they're playing, they're just not a very backable team. 2 nights ago, well, last night technically, on Wednesday, we went 3-0 in the NBA, and we had the Bulls catching a point. We took the Bulls, and they won outright by 7. They're not traveling. Sacramento's coming into town on they're just coming in on a terrible, terrible skid. And another thing about Sacramento that's really hurting them is they're not generating any type of offensive fluency throughout this. They cannot get a rhythm going. Even on nights where they have players that stand out and have terrific games, it's overshadowed by how bad the team plays as a whole. I think that tonight they may have a better chance at playing better team ball, because Chicago's defense, in my eyes, is non-existent. It's average if you want to talk about NBA standard, but no defense at all is average for the NBA. But tonight, truth be told, I've done the numbers. Chicago should be favored by about 4.5. 4.5 to 5 at home. That's giving them 3 points for home court, obviously. So if you take that out of the equation and just go off of the stats themselves, the numbers, the way the teams play, I think this line at -2 is accurate. Well, it opened up at 2 and then it dropped down to 1.5. But you can take the money line with Chicago at -125, and in a game that I think is going to come down to all offense. What's going to happen is I think Sacramento is going to come out and play the better defense, which is going to cause Chicago to have to make some adjustments early in the first half, and then at halftime them to decide what they want to do for the remainder of the game. When that happens and Chicago really starts picking up the pace and ramping up that offense, backed by just how stellar Zach LaVine is playing, and then being able to fall back on Kobe White and people like that for when he gets double teamed, which he will for parts of this game, those are very good shooters as well. So once they start to kind of pull away from that and their offense outweighs Sacramento's defense, which again, don't take that as me saying Sacramento has a good defense, because they don't. It's just better than what Chicago's is in my eyes. But then when they really have to start pushing the pace, playing really, really ramped up offense, their offensive numbers are terrible. Their point differential is worse than a -6 on most nights, and their net differential, they're 24th in the NBA as far as offensive efficiency when it comes to playing bad defenses, which in this day and age, when you can consider a defense in the NBA bad, that means that it's awful. And for you to still have a negative point differential offensively against a bad defense, that's not a good sign. So what I think this is going to do is come down to an offensive battle between one bad team and one team that's about mediocre at this point but has an all-star on their team, a team that's buying into the new culture coming into Chicago, a team that I think is going to be postseason bound within the next 2 seasons as long as they keep trending the way that they're going, get some good draft picks, and keep just really building the program like they have. They're doing very well with player development in their G League as well, and I think they can make a good trade along with that player development, and we could see a very competitive Chicago Bulls team in the next few years. Being that I think that it's going to come down to a second half of just all offense, I'm going to ride the hot hand, the better offense, Zach LaVine to lead the charge, and I see the Chicago Bulls winning. Truth be told, unless they just get overly hot or Sacramento gets cold, I would say Chicago winning by 6 would be about where I see it. Um, but outright, when I don't have to lay any points and I can take 125 on the money line versus laying $1.10 and them having to win by over 2 points, I'll gladly take the money line all day. Is where I see that is where the value lies. Now again, read between the lines of what I just said. I think defense will come into play in the early going. Second half, this will be nothing but offense. And as long as Sacramento can go on a couple of small runs, I think that 221 is a little bit low. So read between the lines. An offensive game, a very good offensive team because of Zach LaVine, and a team that's not good offensively but only needs a couple of small runs. And I think that total's inaccurate. But we'll see. That right there is just a glorified lean at best. Your official free premium play is the Chicago Bulls outright on the money line minus 125. Again, a great 6-1 day. Congrats to everyone that was on board. If you need anything, Chase at chasewins.com. Send me an email. I look forward to hearing from you. We're going to have an absolutely brutal weekend for the books. Your bookie will absolutely despise you when I'm done with him this weekend. So make sure you jump on board. ChaseWins.com. Go get on a package. I can't wait to see you there. Potential huge game of the week or month coming up this weekend. Super Bowl package will be released tomorrow. I'll send everyone an email. Be on the lookout for another live show. Podcast announcements coming over the weekend with the new podcast coming out next week. Can't wait to share that with you guys. I love you. Congrats to another great day. 16-4 run over the past 2 days. 3-0 top play run. Chicago Bulls money line minus 125. Let's go get it. ChaseWins.com. See you guys.